everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to Unapologetically Me. I thank those that are joining us today. Do remember, little housekeeping, do remember if you want to leave any comments for me or Lisa, make sure you go onto our Unapologetically Me page to leave your comments there. That way we will be able to see them. I can put them up on the screen. You can have your 5 minutes of fame, and this way we can see them. But however, you can also watch from my personal page. The only thing is with my personal page, I will not be able to see your comments until the end. So people on the East Coast, Philadelphia, we've been having some crazy weather here. I mean, Saturday it was in the 70s, and now today it's a little colder. And, this weather is just like messing us up. So I'll be glad when it just picks a weather or picks something and stay with that. But I don't want to stay talking about me too long or the weather or whatever, but I want to get right into our show. We have a great guest today. Her name is Lisa Downs. I'm going to be bringing her in a moment to have her talk to you about what it is that she is doing in her business. But I am so excited to know that you guys that have been on the show already, you are getting back to me to let me know that you are making connections. Some business collaborations have come out of the show. Some business have come out of the show. And I even had someone contact me and said that they got a sponsor from the show. So I'm excited. I think we're doing some good in the world. But without further ado, I want to introduce my guest today. And I'm going to bring her in. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Felicia. Thanks so much for having me here. I really appreciate it.
Good, great. So tell everybody where you're coming in from today.
So I'm in the Seattle area, hailing from Redmond, Washington, home of Microsoft. My husband's a Microsoftie, and we've lived in the Seattle area now for a bit over 20 years after moving here from Illinois and Iowa. That was back in 2000, and it's hard to believe that it's almost been 21 years already that we've been out here.
I know. Time goes by fast, doesn't it?
It does. Zooms by,
Yes,
it
it
seems.
does.
And the older I get, the faster it goes. So
I think that's for all of us, not only you, not
so
only you. But I want you to let everybody know, how did we meet? Because this is the first time that you and I are meeting each other.
yeah, I think we were introduced by a mutual acquaintance
Mhm.
over LinkedIn. So you
Okay.
and I met virtually and had a phone call. But yes, I think this is the first time we're seeing each other in the flesh, so to speak, at least between screens. So at least can
Exactly.
see each other's faces.
Yes, absolutely. I tell you, LinkedIn is a wonderful thing.
It
A lot of
is.
people do not utilize LinkedIn, but I tell everybody, if you are a business person, a professional business person, LinkedIn is the way to go. And the reason why I say that is because Facebook is good, but to me, Facebook is more like for family and friends and
Yeah.
social. LinkedIn is business. You have business-minded people there. You don't have to work hard because people have their business and they're already in business. So if you want to talk about collaborations, they get it. They get it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree. I have worked for the last number of years to steadily build my LinkedIn network, and I use it every day. So whether I am networking with someone just to propose that we have a virtual coffee meeting to get to know each other, or people connect with me, or we engage in exchanging messages or new connections. I even use it to post information on different groups, and I scout for jobs for people. So I'll post, if I see a job opening that I'm aware of, I'll post it in some of my LinkedIn groups to see if there's anyone who might be interested. So I use it for a variety of reasons and have really kind of upped my game the last couple years with posting consistently on LinkedIn. And I
Mhm.
have gotten coaching clients from LinkedIn too.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And that's what I'm saying. It's so underutilized. And
Hmm.
I just found out, which I didn't know, is you can create, I mean, because I was trying to figure out when I have events or workshop or different things, how can I send an invite out to my whole network? So I have almost 3,000 people in my network, and you don't want to sit there in your inbox and inbox 3,000 people. But I didn't know that you can set up a page, and then from that page, you can go in and invite your whole network to that page. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so a lot of cool tools in there. And of course, now they have a lot of great learning modules too. So my background's in learning and development. So I always encourage people to check out their training modules because they acquired lynda.com a while back. And so LinkedIn Learning offers a ton of content. If people want to just brush up on their tech skills or other, business skills, they have a wealth of information there for their courses too.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Okay, so now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes now that we know a little bit about you personally. So tell me about New Aspect Coaching. Well, first of all, where did you get the name and how did you come up with the idea?
So the name really comes from seeing things from a different perspective or different angle. And so in the coaching work that I do with clients, that's a big part of my job is to ask the good questions, lots of open-ended, provocative and evocative questions
Hmm.
to help people reframe and see things from a different aspect or a different angle. And for me and my work, I focus on supporting those who are age 40 plus and who are looking to do something different with their career. So, whether it's an encore career or go into a different industry or different role, I help them figure out what the heck that's going to be and what that is. And then I also help people figure out how they're going to spend their time if they're looking to retire or semi retire. So they still live active, full, engaged lives with purpose and without going into any type of downward spiral with their health physically, mentally, or emotionally post retirement.
Oh, wow. Wow. So there's a lot of things that's going on there. And thank you for joining us. Those that are coming in, good afternoon, Diane. Good afternoon, Paul. Diane, it's great to see you. Let me tell you, Diane has been here faithfully almost every Tuesday, and she has gotten business. She has gotten collaborations. So, Diane, you don't need to go anywhere. You just need to come on my page. You can start getting people from my page and just do your thing. But that's interesting, and I'm glad that you said that because a lot of times, well, the last couple of shows I've had millennials on because I
Hmm.
say millennials get such a bad rap. They
Yeah.
really do. And I am a PWNC, my organization, Philadelphia Women's Network Connection. We have a community partner with SNJ Millennials, which is South New Jersey Millennials,
Hmm.
a group of fantastic young people that are really doing some great things in the world. Last week, we had a young lady, Trinity Jardeo, 20 years old, out in the community and just doing some fabulous things. So it's nice and refreshing for someone like yourself to come on and say, well, you know what? I work with the 40 plus, because I'm in that category. I work with the over 40 plus,
Yeah.
because for a lot of over 40 plus, especially when you start getting into your 50s and the 60s, you get kind of complacent,
Hmm.
if that's the word, in what it is that you're doing. So, and sometimes you don't want to learn something new.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with someone to come to you and say, well, Lisa, okay, I'm 60 years old and I've been doing this forever and I don't know if I can learn something new. How do you deal with that?
So I tend to approach it from the perspective of lifespan, so
Okay.
longevity.
Mm.
So now it used to be, if you look back in our history, long about the 1930s or so, the average lifespan from age 65 until the time someone passed away was only about 7 years. Now that average is up to about 22 to 25 years, sometimes even 30 years after age 65. And
Wow.
so having to help people. Um, Go against this notion that when I turn a certain age, I'm done, right? I'm done living, I'm done learning, I'm done, and just be put out to pasture.
Right.
And thankfully, I think that that notion of what quote unquote retirement looks like is changing, where people do want to be active and engaged and realize that. Yeah, I can still have 3 more decades potentially or more after I turn traditional retirement age. That's a third of our lives. So, what are you going to do with that time? Just sit around and watch TV all day or stare at the walls? That's no good for anybody. And so, I
Sure.
frame it in terms of longevity and lifespan. And let's plan decade by decade. What do you want to be doing in your 50s, in your 60s, in your 70s, in your 80s? And what does that look like exactly? And of course, those plans will change. It's a living, breathing thing.
Hmm.
But helping them think about more than just what's right here, what's right in front of our noses, and
Hmm.
that there's still a lot of time on this earth. So,
Yeah.
how are you going to use it?
Yes. I so agree. And it's funny you say that because last night, HBO, I love Tina Turner. Okay. I am a Tina Turner fan. And last night I found on HBO, they did a documentary on her. It's almost about 2 years old. And of course, the youngsters don't know her story. For people that are in our age category, we know her story that follow her. And it was just amazing. First of all, I applaud her for everything
Hmm.
that she went through to be the strong woman that she is today, and to go back and have to rehash that again and again and again because people wouldn't let it go about Ike. They would always ask about Ike when they were
Yeah.
talking to her. And she would be like, that's done. But what I'm trying to say is she was 50 years old when she went out on her own and started
Hmm.
her own. And this woman, I remember when I went, because I grew up in New York, I'm a New Yorker. I went to go see this woman in Madison Square Garden. Let me tell you something, okay? By the time she was done from the audience, we were all exhausted because of her energy. She ran from one side of the stage to the other side, jumping up and down, running, dancing. I mean, I was exhausted. And she even fell on the stage. She fell on the stage and she kept the music going, got up and continued doing what she was doing. So age is nothing but a number. I mean, I'm a baby boomer. I've been around for quite some time, and never started an organization before, and this was something new for me when I started this. I'm having a ball.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't imagine trying to go back to a corporate job at this time.
Yeah, same here. And I mean, my own brother in law didn't even start med school until he was in his 40s.
Wow.
I know people who started franchises, started businesses in their 60s and
Mm-hmm.
beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, it's just a number. It's all this game, this game that society imposes on us.
Right.
Ageism is real. And so, how are you going to go against it and show people and be the proof that age really is just a number? And the limits that you have tend to be self imposed and playing into these old tropes and stereotypes about age. So
Right.
I'll often ask people, or what are you doing yourself to buy into those stereotypes or buy into those old tropes?
Mm-hmm.
If you're saying things like, well, I'm too old for that, or anytime you start a sentence with, I can't do that because, then you're playing right into those ageist stereotypes too.
That is so true. It's so funny because my husband and I'm 5 years older than my husband. So when we go away, we're usually hanging because we're both in our 50s. So we're usually hanging with the 30 something year olds. So when we tell them how old we are, they don't believe it. They don't believe it. They're like, first of all, you guys don't act like it, and you definitely don't look like it. And my mother is, what did she just turn? She turned 67, I believe. If you was to see this woman, she looks like she's in her 60s. Well, no, she turned, oh my God. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot my mother's age. Anyway, my mother looks like she's in her 60s. She's 80. She's in her 80s. My mother's 86. That went right out of my head. But if you was to look at her, she looked like she's in her 60s. And not only that, but she's always moving, always
Yeah.
moving. I call her, I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm walking. I went to the store. I did this. I'm up. I'm cleaning the house. I'm doing this. So I truly believe that if you sit and you be still and you say, I'm old, that's what you'll believe,
Hmm.
and I think it's definitely a mind thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I like to think of, your example of Tina Turner is a great one. And I think of the Rolling Stones too, that
Hmm.
I think they're great models of the future of work,
Hmm.
where people who aren't going to allow age to really be imposed on them in terms of what they do with their lives will be choosing more and more to continue to work. It's just going to look different.
Right.
So with Tina Turner and the Rolling Stones as well, that choice of we're going to still work and do things and be active and do our thing, only
Hmm.
we get to choose when that happens.
Right.
And so they may go on tour, they may cut a new album, they may, be out and about at events, and then they'll pull back a bit and do what they want.
That
And
is so
so
true.
I think we'll see this more and more, at least I hope we will, of people realizing that it really is our choice and it's a matter of how we craft it. So
Right.
it may not look like the traditional 8 to 5, Monday through Friday full time job anymore. It may look like what I call a portfolio type of career, where you're pulling on different threads.
Mhm.
So one thread might be part time work. Another thread might be doing some consulting work. Another thread might be volunteering. Another thread might be philanthropy. Another thread might be, trying something new activity wise or hobby wise, or serving on a board of directors. And so you've got all of these things going on that really encompass a portfolio life and a portfolio career. And I think we'll see that more and more as we head into the future here post pandemic.
I think so too. So right now we're at the half mark. I'm telling you that a little more than the half mark. That time goes so quickly. So we're just going to take a quick commercial break and then we'll come back and finish talking to you some more.
Great.
Okay, everyone. So I am so excited to be able to present this and talk about this to you guys. Um, First of all, I want to thank Temple Small Business Development Center to allow me the opportunity to be able to come and teach and train some classes there. And the first one will be April 14th on a Wednesday. That's during your lunchtime, 1:30 to 2:30. I'm going to be talking about networking your business during a pandemic. A lot of people now, we're still kind of like in that pandemic state, as I would say. So it's a great way to come to network, but also get some great tips and tools about what I did through PWNC to make me stand out during 2020. It was during 2020 that PWNC was recognized as one of the 500 global small businesses. Also during 2020, we were offered the partnership with Google. So there was a lot of things that were happening that were positive for PWNC and different things that I did to make me stand out from my competition. So if you want to know what we did, how we got the recognitions that we got, Ask Questions Network, join us. It is a free event. Anyone can sign up, which is great. So anyone can attend to get some great information. And again, I'm not going to give you what I'm going to be talking about. You're going to have to sign up and come and get the information. So we are going to be going back to our guest here. Okay, great. There, thank you. I was like, uh-oh, let me put my glasses on. You don't do it because I don't want to like log us out. But anyway, so Lisa, all right. So if I came to you as
Mhm.
a new client, just tell me from like point A to point Z, what would you do? How would you talk to me and bring me on to get me ready for what you need to do with me?
Sure. So I do offer a complimentary introductory conversation, whether that's by phone or Zoom. And in that conversation, I just learn a bit about your situation. So, what is it that you have going on? What prompted you to contact me? And then, I ask questions like, have you worked with a professional coach before beyond sports? Because it's a lot different from sports coaching.
Right.
And just find out what the situation is. And then for individual work, I offer three different types of programs. So I offer a more intensive 12-week program for one-on-one coaching. I offer where people can hire me month to month for a 3-month minimum, and I offer a 2-hour strategy session. And so we talk about those options. And then if it's a yes, then we start the onboarding process by basically me sending the client an intake form that asks a lot of open-ended questions. There's kind of a quick and dirty self-assessment in there
Mm-hmm.
about roadblocks and what gets in their way. And then we talk about, what are the goals for the coaching? So what's the ultimate result or outcome they're looking to get from the work with me? But I really lead folks through a process of, everything starts with getting to know who they are and then once I have an insight to that, we start working toward their vision. So what is their ultimate vision for their lives in terms of what they're doing day to day? What does it look like? And then from vision, we talk about, okay, so who are you going to be? So in terms of identity,
Mm-hmm.
to get you toward this vision. Then we talk about what is then your brand that you're putting out there. So even for folks who are looking to retire, you still have a brand, a personal brand. So what is it going to be when it's not defined by what was your previous work anymore?
Right.
And then from there, we get to concrete goals and actions to execute on that vision. And I do a lot of work in addition to identity. I do a lot of work around uncovering limiting beliefs and fears that may be holding someone back. So, what are those? Work to uncover those. I call it our dirty underbelly. And so I work with the client to uncover, what is going on within that dirty underbelly
Mm-hmm.
that's really influencing the decisions they're making or not making, the actions they're taking or not taking, and where there's the potential to engage in self-sabotage. But ultimately, the result is that every client comes out with a concrete action plan and goals to work toward that really energize them, get them excited about the future and where they're headed, and prepare them to take that next step in their lives, whatever that may look like in terms of career or post work life.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot. You
Yeah.
offer a lot. So usually how long do you work with them? Is it do you have like a set plan or it's customized to them?
It's customized. Typically, though, the it's 90 days.
Mhm.
So I work with folks for 3 months, typically a 3 month minimum. And then there's the option to add more time after that. But usually 90 days, about a 3 month engagement is typical. It does take a while. Coaching is something, it's not a quick fix. It's not like attending a training class and you take in all this knowledge and boom, here's a new skill set. It does take a while because a lot of it is just really building the rapport deeply, gaining the client's trust, and doing this heavy lifting in terms of who they are. And sometimes there's a lot of layers to that onion that need to be peeled back to really get to that core.
Wow. So do you also work with businesses in doing this? I mean,
I
would they, contact you and say, "Hey, Lisa, we want you to come in and teach our group." And so tell me a little bit about that.
Yep. So I work with small to mid-sized businesses primarily, so up to about 2 to 3,000 employees. So I'll work with staffs as small as 15, 20 people, or as large as a couple thousand. And so for businesses, I do offer a traditional outplacement program. So for businesses who can't afford the big, typically pricey outplacement support programs for people they lay off. So I do offer outplacement support that's customized programs, and then I offer for employees who they think are getting close to retirement. Anywhere from a few months up to about 3 years. I offer what I call a retirement off ramp program
Mhm.
that they can offer their folks as an employee benefit or an extension of their career or learning and development programs. And so I will work with businesses and I will customize career development programs as well.
Wow, I can imagine. That's probably a lot of work when you're working with businesses though. As opposed to
Yeah.
now, as far as single clients, how many clients do you take on during the year?
So it really depends on kind of the season and what's happening. I try to make sure that I'm not working with more than about 6 to 8 people at a time. That's about my max that I can balance in any given moment.
Okay.
And so some of the clients will work with me for a shorter duration. If they just want the 2 hour kind of shot in the arm strategy session, some will do the longer 3 to 4 month engagements. So it really kind of depends how many people I'm juggling at any one time. But I do try to make sure that I've got good balance there, not only so I don't burn myself out,
Mhm.
because it is very intensive, very intimate work,
Right.
but also, to make sure that the client feels like they're getting my attention that's warranted to them. I want to make sure that I'm giving a high value
Mhm.
experience and to make sure that I'm managing my time effectively too.
Yeah, of course, because you want to, I mean, we hate to say this, but it's true. Time is money.
Yeah.
We hate to say that. And I hate to say that because I don't want people to feel that everything is built on monetary,
Hmm.
but time is money. And I'm sure with working with your different clients, you want to get the best bang for their buck, more or
Yeah.
less. And you want them to walk away with the feeling of, okay, I came to Lisa and she provided a plan, the plan worked, and now this is what I'm doing and I'm thriving. So
Yeah.
that's great. Now I imagine now, since we are in this pre-COVID or post-COVID atmosphere, that you probably been going more national than you ever thought you would.
Yeah, I always set up my business from the start to be national, and
Hmm.
even pre-pandemic, it's been my goal to have a virtual practice to be able
Hmm.
to work with anyone regardless of location. And so it's so funny because it used to be when I proposed virtual coffee meetings with people for networking, they'd look at me like I had three heads.
Hmm.
And then here comes the pandemic, and now it's like I was a trendsetter.
I
But
understand. I
yeah, it's that's
understand.
the great thing, and what I love about it is I can connect with anyone anywhere and serve clients. I mean, right now I have a client who's in Kansas City. I work with folks down in California. I've got one out in Richmond, Virginia. So, it's really anywhere where we can have a connection, whether by phone or virtual environment platform.
Hmm.
It's great, and it's wonderful to be able to serve folks who are
Wonderful.
located anywhere.
Wonderful. That's awesome. That's awesome. So what is in plans for you next? And while you're talking, I'm going to run and get my plug. I thought I had my plug in my computer. I don't want it to shut down on us. So tell us, what is your next step? What are you planning on doing moving further in your organization?
Yeah, so my next step is to build out and offer some group programs. So I'm looking to do a group workshop here coming out, post pandemic time, but to help people be ready in terms of what they want to do next with their careers. Now that we've been in a situation for over a year in lockdown, quarantine, or at least restricted in terms of our movements, and doing a lot of working from home for a lot of folks, and what do they want life to look like. So group programs are next for me. I'll probably start with just a kind of a shorter workshop to begin with, and then have a longer online program here later in the year to launch that. And then I also have my own radio show called Reigniting You. That's also a podcast, and I started that last October. So continuing to tweak, do refinement to the format. So I'm still kind of playing with that a little bit and having guests on, which is great. And so, just continuing to work on the show. It's geared toward age 40 plus folks, all different topics about career transition for that audience. And so it's been a lot of fun, and I'll hit my 1 year mark here this fall. So continuing to tweak that.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a weekly, and has been a lot of fun so far. So, but those are my
Wonderful.
my main projects right now.
Wonderful. God, excuse me, I'm a little out of breath. I had to run down three flights of steps.
You're quick.
This is live, guys. This is live, okay? So as you're talking, I'm like, please keep talking. Please keep talking because I have to run now. But we're good now. We're good
You
now.
made it.
Yes, yes. But you know what? You are so inspiring because I'm listening to you and I'm like, my God, this woman is doing a lot of stuff. She's doing a lot of stuff. But it's wonderful.
Thanks.
It's wonderful. So we're coming up shortly to ending the program, but tell people how they can get in contact with you.
Sure. So you can go to my business website. That's yournewaspect.com. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just look for Lisa Downs, Downs, on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there. You can go to my Facebook page for my business, just Facebook /your new aspect. And you can find me on Twitter. So my Twitter handle is ldowns99. So those are the main ways. You can also give me a call at 425-216-3015, or drop me an email to lisa@yournewaspect.com.
Wow. Not it. Hey, can't get any easier than that, right? And you guys see her website down there. I'll make sure that I put it in the comments once we are done. So, like, we have a message here. Diane, it's amazing. It's reminding me of one of my favorite movies with Robert De Niro. The intern, work experience that's earned by seniors is so valuable. That is so true.
So true. Yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I love that. That was great because Robert De Niro brought the wisdom that
Mhm.
she needed to let her know to take it easy, and you can run your business and be this badass, but yet make sure you're aware of those that are surrounded around you and make sure that
Yeah.
they have your best interest. I love that movie. That was a great movie, Diane. But Lisa, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us today. I'm so glad that we met. I'm hoping that the viewers got your information. They got some great information from you. And it was nice to let us know just because you're over 40, life doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
That's
So
right.
if someone was starting, before we leave, just give me a quick tip. So if someone came to you and they said to you, well, Lisa, I'm 50 years old. I'm thinking about starting a business. I'm not exactly sure what I want to do. What would you say to them? What
I
advice
would
would you give them?
I would say do informational interviews. It's what I did before I left corporate and decided
Mhm.
to go out on my own was I don't hopefully they didn't know, but I'll just say I spent quite a bit of time the last year I worked in corporate America having side conversations with colleagues in my network who I knew had their own businesses and to just get their lessons learned, pitfalls, what's their story, how did they get their first client, how did they get started. I'm a huge fan of informational interviews. And I don't know anyone to this day who has said that they asked for an informational interview with a contact who refused. I think
Yeah.
most people are very happy to share and to give a little bit of their time to do that for you.
Yeah, well, you heard it, guys. Lisa, again, thank you. Before we leave, I just want to bring this up to remind everybody. We're about to go into the, what is it, second quarter, third quarter, second quarter? What is this? What are we, March?
Second, yeah.
Second quarter. I can't even keep up. I'm doing so many things. I don't even know where I am. But we're about to go into the second quarter. And this morning I put up for those of you who want to know how to do Facebook ads. A lot of people think the way to go to promote your business on Facebook is by boasting. No, that's not a good way. So if you want to know the right way to do it, how to get yourself out there in front of your competition, what to write, how to set them up, we're going to be doing a live demonstration for you so you'll be able to follow along with us. Make sure you join us on April 29th. That is a Thursday from 6 to 7. The price for that is $10. Come and get some great information to continue to build your business. So Lisa, I'm going to say goodbye to you. Hold on, don't hang up yet, and I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, everyone. Thank you again for joining us today on Unapologetically Me. I hope you got some great information. Again, I will make sure that I put Lisa's information in the comments below so you can connect with her. She has a Facebook page. She is also on LinkedIn, so you can connect with her as well. Don't forget about the events that I showed you. So thank you for joining us. I look forward to you guys coming back next week on Unapologetically Me at 12:30. I am your host, Felicia Shankin. You guys have a great day. Stay safe. Bye-bye now.